Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 6 things that we learned from Gillingham FC 0, Bradford City 2. If you do go on to enjoy today's video, please make sure to drop a like on there for me. If you're trying to 80 likes on today's video, that'd be massively appreciated. Subscribe if you're new as well. We are on the road to 8,000 subscribers, so please make sure you are subscribed if you haven't already with that post notification bell on. It's free to do so and it does massively help out. Get your thoughts in as well on yesterday's win down in the comment section down below, and more specifically the 6 things that we do go on to talk about in today's episode. Now, unfortunately, it is a solo episode once more. Both Frank and Corbin didn't watch the game yesterday, so they were obviously unable to give their thoughts on the game. Now, iFollow was actually down as well for the first 35-40 minutes of the game, so unfortunately, I can't really give you much analysis of that because I couldn't physically watch it. There was a major problem with iFollow across most of the teams in the AFL, so the quicker that iFollow gets bin, the better, because that service is absolutely terrible. But I managed to watch the last 5 or 10 minutes or so of the first half and then the entirety of the second half. But make sure to drop a like on there for me, subscribe if you're new as well, and let's get into it. Starting out then with box number 1, and obviously with it being our 5th win in a row, 3 straight league wins as well for us now. I think we've scored 15 goals and conceded 1 in our last 5 matches. We're on a brilliant run of form. We've got to start out with a green box, and it is going to be for Jonathan Tomkinson. Absolutely fantastic. His first league start at Bradford City. It's been a long time coming, and goodness me, he definitely did impress. It's certainly not an easy place to go, is Gillingham. Considering the type of centre-half that Tomkinson is, you would maybe look at him and think, right, he's not going to be that good in the air because he's much better on the ball, he's very quick, but he is very, very good. I've been very impressed so far with Jonathan Tomkinson, and you can certainly see why we were so desperate to get them papers sorted before the summer transfer window did officially slam shut, and I thought he was absolutely outstanding. He won so much in the air, he was incredible. Certainly my man of the match. I think with the amount of expectation that was probably put on his shoulders to perform, he certainly used that as motivation, and he was absolutely brilliant. Obviously, another clean sheet is absolutely fantastic, and you've got an absolutely brilliant centre-half in Sam Stubbs sat on the bench who can't get into the team at the moment because they're all playing absolutely fantastically, and we won't talk about Platt or Kelly specifically in this video, but I thought them two were both just as solid after picking up some bookings quite early on in that second half. We're certainly going to get onto the referee as well at some point in today's video, but Tomkinson was the only Bradford City defender not to pick up a booking in that game, and I thought he dealt with their different variety of forwards very well. Obviously, Macaulay Bonne in that first half and a little bit into the second half. While he doesn't really possess much like footballing ability, he's very smart and he makes contact with the defender to make it tricky in terms of the headers. Obviously, when Ollie Hawkins comes on, he's 6'6", 6'7". He is definitely a threat for us, and I thought Platt and Kelly dealt with him fairly well. Obviously, Tom Nichols is a very good in terms of his movement, and he can certainly hit a ball, and I just thought Tomkinson overall for me, whoever he was coming up against, dealt with them very well. His passing was good, his decision making was good, defensively very, very solid, and for me personally, absolutely deserves a green box. It was a brilliant first league start for him and certainly deserves a green box. I thought it was fantastic. I genuinely cannot praise him enough because I thought he was absolutely brilliant yesterday. We'll move on then to box number 2, and the only non-green box of today's video. This is a red box for Scott Jackson. Now you may be thinking, who is Scott Jackson? He was the referee yesterday and he was awful. We've not really spoke about many refs so far this season, but Scott Jackson was absolutely terrible. I've been watching the game for about 5 minutes for what I would say when iFollow came back on in whatever it was, 35th, 40th minute up until half time, and I'd already decided by that point he was just one of them referees who likes to make the game all about himself. He wants to be the centre of attention, and he got so many things wrong in the game, and I don't think it helped by how Gillingham, every time there was some sort of even slight decision, they had 4, 5, 6 players swarming around the referee, demanding him to make some sort of a decision. George Lapsley was the worst for it. I mean, how he didn't end up getting booked, I'll never know, but there was a period in the game, in that second half, I think a 10-minute period, where there were 7 bookings given out, and only maybe 2 or 3 of them were bad tackles where you'd say, yeah, that's definitely a yellow card. And it was just it's so annoying when that happens because it wasn't really a dirty game. You know, there's a couple fouls where it's like, yeah, that's a standard yellow card, but the referee just let the game get completely out of control. He was giving bookings for basically what looked like players going up to question him. I think might have been number 4. It's one of the Gillingham players. When we were about to take a corner, he's going over to the referee and he's not going to be aggressive or he's not shouting at him. It certainly doesn't look like he's swearing at him. And the referee just pulls out a yellow card, and I thought that was really bizarre. Brad Halliday, for me, probably lucky not to get sent off. He absolutely nailed Johnny Williams, who was absolutely awful in the game. He did nothing. Halliday kept him quiet throughout the whole game, and yeah, Williams was on the receiving end of a pretty bad tackle from Brad Halliday. I don't think he actually made contact with it, but with the angle the referee had, if he would have certainly given a red card, I don't think anyone could have really had many complaints, to be honest with you. There were shouts for a Gillingham penalty as well when Small was down in the penalty area. He went to clear the ball, and I think it was Mahoney, skipped the ball past him, and I personally don't think it's a penalty. Again, he's tried to play for the contact. He's tried to initiate the contact rather than just, playing, and if Small would have impeded him, then it would have been a penalty, but Smallwood's foot was on the floor, so for me personally, that would have never ever been a penalty. I think just because of how many yellow cards he gave and how inconsistent some of his decisions were. Like, Gilead's yellow card was never even a foul in a million years, and that got the same level of punishment as what was a pretty poor tackle from Brad Halliday. And like I say, if that would have been given as red, I don't think many people would have complained. But I thought for both sides, really, really poor as a referee. You never want to see a referee who loses control of the game, but when he's giving out yellow cards left, right and centre, it's so disappointing. And it really does ruin the game then, because you feel like you can't really do much in the game. You can't go and talk to the referee. You can, maybe commit not a cynical foul, but something which is a potential, you do a couple of them and you get a booking for it, because them type of referees will just book you straight away. And if you've already been booked, then obviously you're going to get sent off. And I was really surprised come the end of the game that no one did end up receiving their marching orders. But I was really disappointed with the referee yesterday, so he definitely has to get a red box, and fingers crossed we don't have him again anytime soon. I know we've got Darren Drysdale coming up on Boxing Day. That'll certainly be interesting, but Scott Jackson for me deserves a red box. Into box number 3 then, and it is another green box, this time for Jamie Walker. On the score sheet, once again, I think his 6th goal of the season now, and just a really, really good performance from Jamie Walker. This is what I was asking for from Jamie Walker for the past 18, 20 months, whatever it's been at Bradford City. Consistency. And he's taken his form from November into December, and he's scoring goals. 6 for the season. I think, is it 4 or 5 in his last couple of matches? I think it's 4 in his last 6 or 5, something like that. He's on a really, really good run of form at this moment in time. And like I mentioned it in my match preview, he scores big goals in big games, and it was a really, really good finish for our first goal. Obviously, they're trying to play out from the back. I think that's their new style of play under their new manager, and it didn't really work. It was a poor pass from their goalkeeper. I don't know what the left back's trying to do. He tries to keep it in play for some reason rather than just letting the ball go out of play, reset, and you get everybody back in shape. He keeps it in, but the ball can only go as far as Gilead. He drives forward. Halliday absolutely busts a gut to get on the overlap, and that is fantastic from Brad Halliday. He puts the ball into the box. It takes a slight deflection, but it comes to Jamie Walker on that left foot, and it's an arrowed finish into that bottom corner. An absolutely fantastic goal from our number 7. Like I say, to get his 6th for the season. Ryan Sparks said, I think it was in the summer just gone by, that obviously Emmanuel Sidibe and Jamie Walker, they had big long-term injuries last season, and they would have both gone on to get 10 goals and 10 assists each. I believe that's what he said. I don't know if that was the direct quote, but I'm pretty sure that is what he said. Emmanuel Sidibe, don't think he'll quite get 20 goal contributions, but Jamie Walker certainly could, especially from a goal scoring point of view. And we've not really had many players to score goals. Normally with our number 10s and creative players over the last couple of seasons, they have been creative and they're not really goal scorers. But Jamie Walker is certainly a goal scorer. He loves a goal, and it's really nice to see him performing consistently, because I've been one of them people who's not really been too sure with Jamie Walker, but over the last month or two, since Graham Alexander's come in, really, I think he has been very, very good, and once again deserves another green box. He's bringing quality on the ball. His energy and legs is there. He's absolutely vital, and he's keeping out what is a very, very good player in Alex Patterson at this moment in time. I know Walker and Gilead are technically playing the same role, but I think Walker offers more going forward, and Gilead offers you a little bit more defensively. While they're both pretty decent at both attacking and defending, I certainly think Walker is better at attacking and Gilead is better at defending. So that is why I think Walker is currently keeping Patterson out the side, who came on and didn't really have much to do in the game. But Walker, for me, another really, really good performance from him yesterday, and great to see him pop up with another goal. So definitely deserves another green box. In to box number 4 then, and it is yet another green box, this time for Harry Lewis. He's not had many so far this season. He would have probably had quite a lot last year. He might have had one pretty much in every game that he played. But Harry Lewis yesterday, another really, really solid performance from him. Made a really good save in the first half. I think a corner came in from Gillingham. I've only seen this from the highlights that Bradford City put out, obviously, on their YouTube channel. Corner came in. I think it's Macaulay Bonne with the header, and it looks like Harry Lewis does really well to keep it out at that near post. A lot of, from the Gillingham side, they seem to think that the ball was definitely over the line, but a great save from Harry Lewis. But that's not just why he's got a green box in this one. It's yet another clean sheet. 3 league clean sheets in a row now. I think it's 4 clean sheets for him now in a row in all competitions, because the goal we conceded against Barnsley, I'm pretty sure Colin Doyle was in goal for that one. So obviously great for Harry Lewis, but in terms of the amount of crosses that were coming into the box, and he was dealing with them very, very well. They had some big physical players did Gillingham, and Harry Lewis could have certainly gone under at times when them crosses were coming into the box and they were landing right on top of his head. He's got 4, 5, 6 players directly surrounding him. He was catching the ball, he was punching it, making some really, really good decisions, and while he didn't have many saves to make, when they're putting a lot of crosses into the box, making a good decision with them is just as important in my opinion. I thought his distribution was fairly well, and we look so good defensively now. We're not really conceding too many chances when we are. Harry Lewis looks much more confident, because I think under Mark Hughes and Kevin McDonald, we were conceding a lot of chances, whereas now I think Graham Alexander's got us very organised, he's got us very compact when we're defending, and the fact we're going ahead in games means that we're now able to sit on that and sit on our defensive structure, because it is really, really solid. There's not really many cracks in that at this moment in time, and you've got to give credit to Harry Lewis, the number of defenders that have been playing, the wing backs, your midfield, and obviously your 2 strikers as well. Your defending starts from the front, and I thought that both of them, and obviously the subs that came off the bench, initiated the press very well. For me personally though, Harry Lewis deserves a green box. Like I say, he's not had many so far this season, but he certainly deserved one yesterday, because from crosses and all that sort of stuff, he was really, really confident, and it's great to see Harry Lewis back performing very well, and hopefully he does continue for a long period of time, so definitely deserves another green box for me. Moving on then to our penultimate box is yet another green box. Of course it is, this time for once again the captain Richie Smallwood. I don't really know what to say about this man anymore. He's just brilliant. I think under Graham Alexander, he's been a man reborn. He looks very, very good. The role that he's got in there is basically to win the ball back and clip it into the channel, and he does it so well, and it's just such an effective role to have, because he's not now dilly-dallying with the ball, trying to pass it sideways to a centre-half, or maybe trying to play a 60-yard diagonal and it goes out of play, or it doesn't quite work. Now he's keeping his football simple, and I think you've got to give Graham Alexander credit for that, and he's looking very good in his role. He certainly seems like a Bradford City captain once again, and just a really, really good performance from Richie Smallwood. I think it certainly needs to be highlighted, because from me personally, and a lot of Bradford fans, he did get a lot of stick in his first year at the football club and his first few months into this season as well. And I think sometimes it was definitely deserved. You look at that performance away at Mottram, that seems like a completely different player to the Richie Smallwood that we're seeing now, week in, week out, very consistent. Against Forest Green, I thought there were a few iffy moments from him, but in this one, just leading from the front, in that anchor role, in the centre of our midfield, he's absolutely fantastic. And there's not really too much you can say about Richie Smallwood. He comes in, plays the game, gets the job done. He's doing his role very effectively at this moment in time. Like I say, you've got to give Graham Alexander a lot of credit for getting the best out of Richie Smallwood, but you've got to give Smallwood credit as well for not going under and not just accepting his wage, and he plays every now and again and it doesn't really matter all too much. You know, you can clearly tell now that he's really enjoying his football at Bradford City once more, and he just looks like a very, very good central midfielder, holding midfielder to have at this football club. I think Kevin McDonald is now back fit and available. How does he fit into this side at this moment in time? Because Smallwood is playing really well. I wouldn't even bring Smallwood off for the last 10 minutes in a game just to keep him fresh, because I think you need Smallwood in there, and I don't really know how Kevin McDonald fits into this side, because McDonald has to play in the role that Smallwood's playing, and you can't play them both next to each other, because I don't think that would really work, and I don't think McDonald quite has the legs to play in the Gilead and Walker role. So it's really interesting at this moment in time how obviously Kevin McDonald will get back into this side. I thought the team selection today from Alexander was spot on. I think it's the exact 11 that I would have gone with, and you know, some people may be questioning the substitutions and who was on the subs bench, but for me personally, I think with the run that we're on at this moment in time, as much as you might think, oh, maybe this player should be on the bench instead of that player, Alexander's winning football matches, so you can't really question it. But back onto Richie Smallwood, fantastic, captain, leader. Who knows? Could that third word come down the line? We'll have to wait and see, but certainly deserved another green box yesterday, did Richie Smallwood, and just brilliant once again. And moving on then into our final box, it is, of course, once again a green box. This time, once more for Graham Alexander. Every time we keep winning football matches, we're not just winning them, we're playing well in there. And like what I've just mentioned a couple of minutes ago, there may be some people questioning, why is Osadebe on the bench? Why is Derbyshire on the bench? Where's Poynton? Where's Chapman? Where's Wilson? And in times gone by, I would have maybe voiced my opinion and voiced my disappointment about that, but we have to trust Alexander because he clearly knows what he's doing. He's winning football matches at Bradford City. There were maybe a couple of people doubting him at half-time against Notts County when we've been beaten by Barrow. We were 4-0 down against Notts County and it looked like it could have gone on to be double figures in that one. But Alexander has certainly turned it around very quickly as well. We're winning football matches once more. He's getting the decisions right. I think he's got a very, very settled team at this moment in time. Obviously, on Friday, we travelled to to Doncaster before a busy festive period, and the starting 11 that played today, I don't really see any reason why you would change it unless there is some sort of an injury. Maybe if we play against a really physical side, you potentially go with a Lydon Oliver over a Tyler Smith, but that's about it. Obviously, when January comes around, we might see the return of Ryan East. Obviously, Timmy Odesina will return from his short-term loan at Woking. Jake Young will more than likely return to the football club as well. There'll be a number of players departing, so I think there's a lot of positive things happening at Bradford City, and you've got to give Graham Alexander credit for that. Credit to the board as well. I think they have received a lot of justified stick so far this season and over the last couple of years, but this appointment, while it was very evident it wasn't our first choice, maybe by luck or by good fortune, it's turning out currently to be a very good appointment. I thought at the time, for who was available in the market out of all the managers who were currently unemployed, I thought he was one of the better appointments we could have made. Still got my doubts about the length of the contract because, Bradford City's history, all it takes is in 6 months' time for us to go on a run of, losing 3-4 on a bounce, and suddenly Graham Alexander's out the door once more, and once again paying off compensation for a manager. But I think for now, we've got to enjoy it whilst it lasts. I'll obviously be there on Friday against Doncaster, and fingers crossed we can continue this run because we're playing absolutely brilliantly at this moment in time. We've got a really good team and we're settled, and the tactics seem to be really spot on. I think Doncaster lost 5-0 today at home, so they're going to want to put that one right next week, but we've got to put that pressure on while it is still there. Overall then, great to be a team like Gillingham. I'm finally delighted to get one over them after the amount of stick that I got on Twitter and all that sort of stuff a couple months ago with the whole Johnny Williams situation, but it means nothing if we don't carry on building on it. I think we're only 3 points off the playoffs as well at this moment in time, despite us still being in 14th place, but I think we've got 12 goal difference to make up on I think he's at AFC Wimbledon in 7th, so we need to start scoring more goals, putting teams really to the sword. But great to get what was a pretty comfortable win against a decent side in the end. They don't really score many goals, but they are a pretty good side, so great overall to get the job done yesterday. I'm going to leave it there then for today's video. If you have enjoyed, please make sure to drop a like on there for me. If you could try and hit 80 likes on today's video, that'd be massively appreciated. Subscribe if you're new as well. We are now on the road to 8,000 subscribers, so please make sure you are subscribed if you haven't already, with that post notification bell on. It's free to do so, and it does massively help out. Get your thoughts in on yesterday's game down in the comment section down below, and more importantly, the 6 subjects that we did go on to discuss in today's video. Again, apologies about there being no one to have a debate with this week, but hopefully you have all still enjoyed watching. Thank you all very much. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you very soon for another one. Peace.